Hey, just going to get started. We've just been talking through the notes from our last messages over the last few weeks, and just so that it's clear in the energy field. So I know we've got some questions, about how long it's all going to take and that sort of stuff. So I've got your notes. We'll sort of get to it. Hope you're nice and warm up there. Is your house warm or cold?
It's cold.
Yeah. So I can hear's much warmer than the rest of the house.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Okay. And hold in for me. And hold out. Beautiful. Yes, our big blankets have been coming in handy. When Josh was around last week, I said, do you have enough blankets? And he said, no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I quickly grabbed a few. Okay. On its own, with something else. So it's linked into that. Okay. So does that mean there's some sabotage because of that? Okay. So the first thing showing up is the bit about the fear that you're going to be alone and you're always going to be alone. And the fact that you're not coping well physically, so you're fearing your body won't cope with another human being. So therefore being isolated from life is a way of protecting or sabotaging you. So that seems to be the thing, but then that is linked in with your immune system. So one of the things with the immune system is, okay, so let's just ask your immune system in relation to wanting to feel isolated. Hold, 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 hold. Let's ask your immune system around safety of being isolated. Hold, 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 hold. And let's ask around fear of isolation. Hold, hold, right, hold. So the first two were obviously the positives of being isolated, whereas the third one, the fear of it, that old saying, what we fear we attract. So the fear of being isolated is messing with your immune system. So even though it is about protection, because protection was strength, the safety bit, that didn't mess with the immune system at all. So feeling safe being isolated, that's fine. But the fear of being isolated, that fear can mess with our immune systems. And there's an energy mismatch. So the fear of being isolated, your brain doesn't know what to do with it. Fear of being isolated, and hold, 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 hold. Fear of being isolated being linked to any and all immune system conditions we're working on. Hold, yeah, hold, hold, hold. Hold. Yeah, so they're connected. So I suspect this is going to be linked to some survival pattern or something like that. So what we'll do now is check which organs are being affected by this fear of isolation and these inflammatory pathways being overloaded. Okay. First one showing up is the Pericardium Meridian, which is the circulation of the sex organs. And hold out for me. Hold out for me. In relation to any and all toxicity. And hold out for me. Hold out for me. Okay. So, toxicity-wise, there's a theory that the uterus builds up toxins throughout the month. So at that time of the month, we're releasing a bunch of toxins. So that might be why you feel better afterwards. Escape, submission, freeze, so wanting to run away. Actually, let me check. Escape, submission, no, it's the freeze. So that fear of isolation messing with the immune system, there's a real frozen in place connection in there or something. Let me have a look. Is that important at this point? Okay. So we'll grab an affirmation online in relation to this. This is weird. We'll see what shows up. So something about the parent gene is showing up. Okay, so 2 and 6. Two, 6, 14. Two, 6, 14, 40. So I'm assuming this is stuff that's come down from your parents that have messed potentially with creation in your own life, because parenting is about creation, creating human beings, creating a life within a family. So when there's challenges earlier on and we've taken on that parent gene, what's that parent gene saying to us? So does it say, yes, I want to have 27 kids, or does it say, don't even go there, girlfriend? So it's like, there's sort of some interesting stuff in here. So I release all beliefs on my genetics that contradict my own. Hold. Sabotage. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust, safe. So it's safety. It is safe to let go of this problem. Hold. It's safer to keep this problem. Hold. I remove all implants on my genetics, bringing me into the energies of the now. I remove all implants on my genetics, bringing me into the energies of the now. Hold. Okay. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. It's safe again. It is safe to let go of this problem. Hold. It is safer to keep this problem. Hold. 14. I leave past traumas on my parent gene and choose to live in the now. Hold. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. This one's deserve. I deserve to let go of this problem. Hold. I deserve to keep this problem. Hold. And 40. And this one is all about the positives of our genes. My genetic heritage gives me wisdom and knowledge. And hold. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. So not trusting. I trust I can let go of this problem. Hold. I trust it's better to keep this problem. Hold. Okay. Yeah, and that's just blowing your heart chakra. So there's something in your genes that's messing with your ability to think that you are safe. And it's like your genes are even not coding you for health and happiness. They're like it doesn't even want the positives to come through from your ancient wisdom, you know, through our genes. And that's what we are as human beings. We are the result of all of those generations, how they've lived, how they've survived. You know, it's the survivors that are here on the earth. It's not the weaklings. So it's we need to be able to take on the positives of our genes as well as releasing the negatives. Okay, there's something else connected to our messages. Now that we've got those affirmations in. Yeah, okay. So this is linked into the fact of the challenges that your parents had when you were conceived, and that not feeling loved and wanted and safe and secure in the womb. Yeah, there's something called a bliss point. I reactivate my bliss point. I reactivate feeling loved and secure. Yeah, so the bliss point is that moment when we know in the womb that we're inside our mother and we feel loved and safe and secure. So and it's often around, you know, somewhere between 6 and 12 weeks. So they've actually found that if we find out that we're not wanted at that moment, so if the first energy in our mother's energy when she finds out we're pregnant is oh crap, it's more like an oh crap moment rather than a oh joy moment, and that can really quite change the dynamics in the bubby. So you would have been bathed with that fear or stress or trauma that went through your mother at the time. Okay, so anyway, so with the flower essence combo, so first is the pericardium. and liver. Okay. So the energy underneath that is always feeling, expecting things to go wrong, taking life too seriously, not being able to have fun, and having an inability to control different emotions, difficult emotions. Yeah. And this was activated at that time of that bliss moment, that moment that should have been your moment of bliss in the womb. That instead there was some terror or fear or challenges associated with it. Do we need the tuning forks? Okay, do we need it on a meridian? Do we need it on a chakra? Yeah, that heart chakra. Okay, so we need to go quite through that emotional layer of the aura. I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively transcend my expecting things to go wrong, my taking life too seriously, not having fun, into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively choose to let go of emotions for transmutation to the heart, allowing love and joy to rule. I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively dissolve my inability to control difficult emotions and my taking life too seriously and not having fun into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively choose to let go of emotions for transmutation to the heart, allowing love and joy to rule. So I was just thinking, one of the things that was in one of those affirmations was about implants in your body, so or in your genetics associated with your parenting gene. So they can be things that have been added to our genes that aren't necessarily supportive of us. So when we're looking at neurological hormones in the body, so we have different hormones for fear, different hormones for anger, different hormones for terror. I'm wondering what it is. Let me just have a squiz. Okay. Okay. So on the map of consciousness, which sort of gives us that higher vibration as we become more and more spiritual or peaceful or calm or energized or in control of our emotions as we go through life, or we don't and we implode, the one showing up for you is that in relation to this, so this moment of that lack of bliss, when your mum realized she was pregnant with you, it created like a fear in your little nervous system. The nervous system is one of the first things to be created with babies. So they sort of start feeling everything very, very soon. So the fear, it means that from that first moment, the body was feeling that everything was their fault. There was like a punitive energy to it that, oh my God, I did this and I'm in trouble, or I did this and I'm a bad person, or I did this and that's a real challenge. So it ends up creating anxiety and withdrawal, wanting to withdraw, wanting to be isolated, wanting to stay away from people, because if I stay away, I'm not going to get hurt. So the energy at fear is only 100. So 200 is sort of like even. So with it, because of this circuit, that lack of bliss, it sort of like lowered your core energy, your core vibration at that time. So therefore, anything positive you do in your life always raises your vibration. But if you believe that punitive energy, you keep on getting dumped back down there again. Okay. Yeah, and that energy's disconnected you from the monadic plane, from that father energy, from that higher self energy. It's sort of, there's a disconnect there. Yeah, but there's still some real energy in that heart chakra. What do we need to do with it? So some more flower essences, adrenal, survival deeps. And now there's some survival patterns we'll have to shimmy. So when the heart is working well, it's about unconditional love of self and others. Love and acceptance of self in the feeling world. Healthy, loving relationship with others. Acceptance of personal emotional challenges as part of a divine plan which has its intent as our conscious evolution. All right, starting to shimmy. But when it's not working well, we can be lacking in trust and lacking in empathy and lacking in compassion, especially with ourselves. And not that there's anything wrong with isolating yourself, but I suppose in the true sense of it, it's really being the most selfish we can be, isolating ourselves and while looking after yourself, but it's not allowing you to integrate with the world on a happy, healthy level. Yeah, and the primary fears with that are fear of loneliness, commitment, being true to one's heart, emotional weakness and emotional pain. And hold. Okay. Hold. 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 Yeah. So it's everything. So no surprise. So this will have set up one of those huge survival, deep survival, hidden deep survival. So it's in there as a biggie. Once again, I'll pop in the immune and inflammatory pathways, since that's the end result of it. These ones are okay. Okay. Yeah, right. And that, just putting in the survival patterns, has just blown your sacral chakra, which is the chakra that feeds all the sex organs. So once again, wanting to run away, that isolation, blowing the energy to these little areas. So once again, if we imagine what we're here on the planet for, and once again, it's interesting, the parent gene has shown up. So if we're here on the planet to repopulate, as one of those survival patterns, and yours is shut down. Not that everyone has to want to have kids, but it's interesting. Okay, so where's this pattern? EMC, MMC, PVSS, so periventricular. Yeah, so really messing with both your sixth sense and, you know, so your sixth sense is all about being able to feel how you are in the world around you, and your body, because it's set up for fear, is going to see fear everywhere. But it's also about touch. So those are the two senses that are really messed within this pattern. Yeah. And then this first little pathway of the brain showing up as anterior cingulate gyrus. And hold. And once again, if you didn't get that amazing bliss point in utero, which is basically about feeling one and feeling loved and feeling, you know, like you have this desire and there's a divine plan for you on the planet. So when you don't get that moment of bliss, then it sets up a, what am I doing here? It should be everyone else but me, you know, sort of always believing that others are more entitled or more entitled to being here on the planet than you are. Yeah, okay. And there's a huge amount of conflict in there because you obviously know you're a fun, good person, so why is your life so challenging? And hold. Yeah, I was just thinking one of my clients has a history where there's one bad thing he did in his life, and he didn't even actually do it that badly or heinously, but the way he sees it, it's blown up in his mind to be, this is the root of all evil, and he's the devil and doesn't deserve any good, and all this sort of thing in his life. So on the very, very rare occasions when he feels happy, he feels like it's because he has forgotten to remember what an evil person he is because of this one particular thing he did. And it's like that. We shouldn't be held accountable for that one worst moment in our life for the rest of our lives. And if your little bliss point is that moment where you realise that your mum wasn't 100% in love with you right from the start, that it wasn't going to be as safe an environment, you know, within your home as well as it should. It's sort of like it's your little self, tiny itsy bitsy little self, is holding you accountable for that moment that's long gone, but it's still going, okay, I'm not worthy, it's not safe, I'm not loved, and I don't deserve it, and I don't trust in it that it's going to be okay. So there's real conflict in there because your brain knows that all that isn't true from a conscious, I'm at this spot in my life level, but that little itsy bitsy part of yourself is still holding on to that. So that's what we're trying to calm down. Yeah, everything's showing up in this periventricular survival pattern. So it's all this genetic pathways. They're all just confused and stressed and creating a dynamic where nothing's ever going to be safe in your life. because the next one showing up is the subclavicular gyrus. This is the one where depression or that real low energy, low joy,